What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring our custom Lego planes and it all starts right now. All right, guys, welcome back. So as mentioned, today we are exploring our various Lego airplanes, all of which are custom built, and we'll show you them in comparison to some of the official Lego sets, and we also have more on the way. Now, this is gonna be a fun video. It's actually one where we have a script, and you know whenever we have a scripted video, that's gonna be a good one. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just dive on in. All right, guys, we thought it'd be fun to show you how we evolved our current airplane lineup and show you what we have in the works. Now, I am not an aviation specialist or designer, neither is Mrs. AFOL TV, but we do have a certain appreciation for airports and airport-themed builds, especially since we travel a lot. As you guys know, we launched our minifig Lego Airport last summer, and it's been met with wide fanfare, and you guys seem to really like it. If you haven't seen the full video tour yet, I'll go ahead and link it up above so you can watch it, but it shows off the interior and exterior and all of the details that are included. After designing the airport and building a section of it, we quickly realized that we also needed to design some planes to go with it. Originally, it was designed for official Lego planes and the gates aligned perfectly. But due to the limitations of the size of our Lego City room and where it currently sits, we needed shorter and smaller planes for our airport. Also, the older planes that Lego made are a little bit better in our opinion than the newer versions. We kind of feel like the new ones just don't have the right dimensions for an airplane. They seem a little boxy and the angles of the nose and the tail just seem to be a little off. Whereas the older planes, even though they still use large pieces, which we're not huge fans of, they do seem to have a better fit and feel. We started binge watching Big Planes on YouTube for inspiration, and he is hands down one of the best Lego plane builders, if not the best Lego plane builders in the world. If you haven't seen his channel yet, go check him out because his plane mocks are unbelievable and extremely realistic. We would love to add planes like this to our city, but there are two challenges we'd face. For starters, his planes are huge. I mean, they are like 6 feet in length. Some of them are even longer. And the other issue that we would run into building a plane like his is that he says they use over 40,000 pieces, which would just cost too much to stock a full airport full of planes for our city. Ideally, we are aiming for planes with 1,000 parts or less, and we've come up with a few different build scenarios which achieve that. Again, I truly believe that Big Planes is the best Lego airplane builder out there, so make sure you do go check out his channel if you haven't seen it yet. I am consistently blown away with what that guy makes, and he is just fantastic at throwing together realistic Lego airplanes. I can only hope that someday our planes have just an ounce of his skills built in, but for now, we needed to start from scratch and design a few planes for ourselves. To start, we picked up Lego set 60102 from a few years ago, which has that private plane, to kind of explore this size as an option. Upon completion, we were a little bummed with the lack of interior details, and we also realized this size just was a little too small for what we needed, and we kind of need something in the middle of the pack between this size and the larger 8 wide sizes that Lego also offers. So we came out with a customization of the set, which was our first attempt at a new plane design, and it was essentially an extended version of the Lego private plane with a revamped interior. And again, all credit goes to Big Planes for the seat designs, but we also added a bathroom and some other features throughout the cabin. We liked the change, but it still wasn't quite doing it for us. We wanted something with engines below the wings, kind of like a 737 or an A320, and that meant it was back to the drawing board. After about 2 weeks of designing, we came up with our next design. It was a 737-like design with engines below the wing, modifications to the overall body, and cool other details like tilted wings, wingtips like a 737 MAX, and a refreshed interior, as well as exterior colors. Again, this isn't necessarily based on a 737, but we definitely drew inspiration from the 737 when designing this. The wings also naturally slope upwards due to the grip of the Lego, which we also really liked. The only downside is that it does crowd the headroom in the plane, and due to the limitations of the Lego bricks used, such as the front section, which also has to meet the bottom plate, there's really no way to expand the height of the plane without creating a gap. And therefore, if you wanted to create seating for minifigs, it's best to swap like the premium built-out seats with regular Lego seats if you want them to fit in every single seat. And again, that's because we reverted back to the larger slope section on the top, which we feel is a better overall system than using a lot of small snot slopes like we did on the first plane. This design was also our first aircraft to feature a working door, which also took a bit of engineering to figure out, but we're really happy with how it turned out. Again, we like it, but we wanted to further modify the design to be even more realistic. The wings still needed to be redesigned, and the landing gear was still based on LEGO's attached landing gear that doesn't actually retract. We went back to the drawing board and eventually came up with this design, which was essentially our version 3 of the 737 style plane, complete with landing gear that retracts, better wing design, more on that in a moment, and we kept the sliding door and moved the engines forward a little bit. We also reworked the tail section, and we used the former LEGO tail, which can be still found on Bricklink for decent prices. Now, we're really happy with this design overall, and we're definitely gonna be adding it to our LEGO City Airport, which you'll see coming up. We're working on some improvements to that as well. But there are still some things about this plane that we wanted to change, specifically the front section. We wanted this to be brick built rather than those two pieces that were used throughout the other builds. So it was back to the drawing board yet again. Again, the front of the older planes was an official LEGO aircraft section, and while it looks decent and works for most of our planes, we wanted something that was a brick built redesign, and it would not only change the overall look, but again, it would have that totally brick built look rather than just one large piece. Also, as a quick mention, we did recently come out with a bunch of microplanes. If you haven't seen them yet, they are available on our website, and they have ones included like a Spirited Air, a America Airlines, a Southwestern Airlines, and go check those out if you want to try your hands at some micro builds that not only save space, but they save time, and best of all, they save money because it's a lot less parts. But anyway, back to the minifig planes, because that's honestly what you're probably here for. So the nose section was the last area to really redevelop. We started with redesigning a larger nose section, one that could be used for an 8-wide plane, like the former official LEGO sets. And honestly, just look at how much time and effort goes into designing these things. Here is a draft studio file of a plane in the works, and it really gives me new appreciation for what Big Planes does and how much work goes into actually making these things work. So again, we really wanted to design something for our new smaller 737 style plane, and one that wouldn't be extremely part intensive. We chopped off that nose section that we just showed you, and we basically started to retweak it for the smaller 6-wide build. We eventually came up with this design, and we are thrilled with how it turned out. It took many nights of part tweaking, but the flow seems to work really well with the rest of the plane body that we had already redesigned for our other builds. Now, we did make one minor tweak to the wings to be more in line with the 737, and we also redesigned the tail to be brick built rather than a one-piece LEGO tail. This allows for more designs and more brands, which we're gonna roll out on our website, so make sure you stay tuned. We already have a couple up there, and again, we're really excited with how it's turned out, especially being brick built. We're able to change the livery and make it, kind of customized for each brand. So again, we're now working on variations of the design for different airlines. And again, be sure to keep an eye out as we have been rolling these out on our website. We've already ordered bricks to build them and also add them to our airport. Well guys, as mentioned, we encourage you to check out our airport build if you haven't seen it yet. I did link it up above earlier in the video, but you can also find it on our channel by just searching airport. It's a really fun build, and we walk you through all of the different techniques used and kind of shows you how modular it is and how great it's been in our own city. That's it for today's video, but be sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Pinterest, because we often post things there that we don't share here. And also, please consider subscribing if you don't already. We're trying to grow the channel, and we really appreciate all your subscriptions and support, as well as comments, so thank you so much. Again, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will be sure to see you next time.